Hey, Toronto is a total crime wave city. It's becoming a failed state. Here's the mayor of Toronto, Olivia Chow, dancing at the Caravana. I'm not sure if I want to see any leader, left-wing, right-wing, young or old, dressed in that way, but Olivia Chow has decided to be the costume party equivalent of Justin Trudeau. Hey, if it worked for him, it might work for her. She can dance her way from party to party while the city crumbles around her. It's funny what she has time for and what she doesn't. She refused to go to the March with Israel, one of the oldest and long-standing Jewish events in the city. That might be too controversial, but obviously she's up for I think it was like a scrambled egg festival or something that she skipped it for. But let's talk about what's really happening in the city. There's homeless encampments under the overpasses. There's an incredible car theft crime wave. People are literally installing bollards. You know what I mean? Like those big post-retractable bollards on their own personal driveways to make it physically impossible for people to steal their cars. It's an incredible thing to watch such an amazing city that once had the nickname Toronto the Good decline into, I don't know, it's not quite what Detroit is, but it's certainly on that path. But I want to show you just a typical day in the life of Toronto. In fact, the only reason this video I'm about to show you is interesting or novel is that it was captured on film from up high. So it's actually a very interesting image. But this sort of thing happens every single day in Toronto. It's just not usually caught on camera. Take a look at the video I'm about to show it to you. Watch the black pickup truck. And this is, for those who don't know Toronto, this is the major thoroughfare right down at the waterfront. It's basically the east-west main highway in the downtown in the city. Just take a look. There's no sound to it. You can see the black pickup truck is being swarmed by one person, two people, five people approach. Then a little bit later in the video, you can see a cop come up and talk to the driver, it looks like, while another protester is in front. And then the last second of the clip, you can see that there's another protest on this road, at Gardiner Expressway, it's called. So there was a series of road stopping protests. The driver was swarmed at one part, sped through, stopped, and was arrested, and we now know he was charged with the crime. From what we understand, none of the people swarming the car were charged with the crime. Now, that was an interesting video and got a lot of action on Twitter. Some people called it a pro-Hamas protest. I'm sure if you had asked people there, they would say it was. But here's another view from street level. This is some photographs by our friend Karima Saad, who covers a lot of street protests. And here's a videotape. I'll be quiet while you listen to this one a little bit. I'm going to let it run for a couple minutes. I want you to hear the kind of person who rules the streets in Toronto, Canada, Canada's largest city, the fourth largest city in North America. Just take a listen of who your new bosses are.
Moving off the road.
Yo, why are you talking?
Get off the road.
Yo, we're going walking our way.
Move it.
We're still doing our thing here.
Keep going, get off the road.
Off the road.
Off the road or be arrested. Off the road.
Go color, sweetheart.
Yo, we're trying to keep moving, but you guys are fucking around. We're trying to keep moving, but you guys are fucking around.
I don't want to go back. You literally were telling us to leave, and now you're telling us to stop? Like, fucking make up your way. Get off their land! 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 Justice for Tyler!
It's an unusual mix. I think some of the masking and style is Antifa, which are paid left-wing violent gangs. There's sort of some ragamuffins there too, some combination of ethnic identities, which of course is possible, but they're playing all of those cards as political cards. You saw at one point a black protester shaming or trying to shame a black cop for daring to work for the man. I'm sure 100 years ago, or even more recently, a black man being recruited for and serving in the police department would have been seen not only as an exhibit of equality before the law, but good news for the black community. I mean, it's obviously that if someone is a black cop, they're going to be attentive to the needs of all communities, including black people. But no, it's just another weapon to attack a cop with by calling him a race traitor, which is essentially what that woman was saying. The big takeaway of this video, though, is that no one's listening to the cops. They're basically saying, please leave the street, please. And they don't, and they dance around and laugh around. No one respects the Toronto police, and I think it's because they don't respect themselves. Now, I think that I'm sure everyone here would say they support Hamas, even though they couldn't find Gaza on a map. They don't know anything other than Hamas is a general way to fight the man. So they would be for that, just like they would be, I don't know, for Greta Thunberg. They don't understand anything about it other than it's a challenge to the system. I think the protest was actually about this story, which involved a police shooting of a mentally unstable person. And obviously that's of concern, but there are ways to express the concerns without threatening people on the streets. Here's just some more images to take a look at, again, from our friend Karima Saad. Here's what Karima Saad tweeted herself. She said, there is significant overlap between protest circuits, but this appears to be an anti-police demonstration on behalf of Tyler Maxey Kaur, the red flag bearer who hit the vehicle as it nearly ran over protesters, has attended several recent events involving blocking traffic downtown. Well, that says a lot, doesn't it? And Karima knows because she's always covering these protests. So he's basically part of a rent-a-mob, probably paid. People have to make a living somehow. And he just goes from protest to protest. And of course, blocking traffic typically over the last, 300 days has been the pro-Hamas folks. You can see, in addition to the keffiyeh, he's got the red triangle hat. That's a symbol that Hamas uses on a target. But he's also indigenous. Just a full-purpose, full-service troublemaker, the kind of person who gets called up and said, this day you're holding this protest sign. Tomorrow you hold this protest sign. It's not organic. It's bought and paid for, and it's a feature of life.